Calling on the 3 p.m. calendar joint Human Services and Judiciary Committee hearings. Present for Human Services is myself, Vice Chair Ibarra, and Senator Ocasio, and hopefully soon we will have the other two members. And for Judiciary?
Carl Rhodes as chair, I said Senator Gabbard, and Vice Chair Cololi, and Senator Ocasio.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so first up, before I go on, I need to do housekeeping. This meeting will include the following agendas: 3 p.m. joint with Judiciary, 3:10 Human Services EDU joint. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 3:05 p.m. Tuesday, April 5th in room 225 and via video conference. Your audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. Each testifier will have 2 minutes to testify. If there's a technical glitch during your time to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. I'll be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website. You will find a link on the status page for the measure. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee does have your testimony that I reviewed, so I encourage you to use your time to either add additional comments or you can stand on your written testimony. So first up, we have SCR 133, SR 117, urging the State Commission on the Status of Women to work with the Domestic Violence Action Center, the Filipino Chamber of Commerce in Hawaii, and other chambers of commerce of Hawaii as appropriate to develop and implement an outreach program aimed at informing domestic violence victims of available resources for assistance. And we welcome Senator Lee to this hearing. So first up, we have Nancy Creedman in person for DVAC, please.
My first visit.
We love having you back.
I'm ecstatic about it. Thank you for the opportunity to work in the broad community as described in SCR 133. We need all the help we can get, and we look forward to the opportunity to engage with the chambers of commerce that are already working in their communities. So I'm available for any questions. And of course, I have worked for years with the Commission on the Status of Women, and that's another great opportunity that's presented by this SCR.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Cara Jabola Carolus, Hawaii State Commission on Status of Women in support. Please proceed.
Aloha, chairs, vice chairs, members. I'll keep this brief. We submitted support, and I just wanted to flag that we do have some amendments after conferring with the community just to strengthen it. We're, very much in support of this this proposal. So thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Patricia McManaman in support. Hawaii's Friends of Civil Rights. Is Patricia available?
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to testify? We have a number. I will start calling out those who have provided written testimony. That's Rose Joaquin of FAUW in support, Liza Ryan Gill, Hawaii Coalition for Immigrant Rights in support, Angelina Mercado, Hawaii State Coalition Against Domestic Violence in support, El Basha in support, Chantel Cambia in support, Rose Churma in support, Mitchell Oza Agluga in support, Edith in support, Carolyn Wigan Hildebrand in support, Rose Bautista in support, Divina Robillard in support, Ashley Galaka in support. Anybody else on Zoom or in person wishing to testify on SCR 133, SR 117? Members, any questions from Human Services? Okay, Judiciary?
Any questions, members?
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. We're moving on. Next up, we have SCR 225, SR 218, requesting the Department of Human Services to develop lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus specific training guidelines for intimate partner violence agencies that serve and assist lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus survivors. Okay, first up, we have no one having scheduled to testify. Those who have provided written testimony are HTH Behavioral Health Administration, Department of Health providing comments, Department of Human Services, State of Hawaii providing comments, Mike Galoya Sr. testifying for Rainbow Family 808 and support, Angelina Mercado, Hawaii State Coalition Against Domestic Violence and support, El Basha and support, Jen Jenkins and support, KE and support, Kai and support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 225, SR 218, on Zoom or in person? Okay, seeing none, there's no one for us to ask questions, so I'm going to move on. SCR 129, requesting the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission to, wait, your lead, sorry.
Sorry. It's not, I don't care that much, but we might as well do things right while we're doing
We
them.
should.
So SCR 129 is request the Civil Rights Commission to clarify claims within the scope of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. First up is Robin Wurzel for Hawaii Civil Rights Commission.
Vice Chair and members of the committee. I also want to thank your staff since the Zoom link wasn't working and somebody just got me in here, Jesse, I believe. So thank you so much. The Civil Rights Commission offered written comments. I am not clear on exactly what the resolution is requesting. Act 164 from last year goes into effect in July, so we have not yet seen any complaints, and we're not sure what we're going to see or exactly how the interplay will work with the DOE and cases that might be 504 cases and cases that might be IDEA. The reso specifically asks us what cases within the Individual Disability Education Act we will find jurisdiction, and the answer is none, because they are cases within IDEA are specifically exempted by statute. So the reso doesn't actually make that much sense to me in terms of what the report should include. So we would ask for some clarification on that.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Sean Bacon for Hawaii State Department of Education. Oh, you're here. Looking in the wrong place all the time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Sean Bacon, Interim Assistant Superintendent for Office of Talent Management, testifying on behalf of Keith Hayashi and the Department of Education. The department stands on its written comments and is available to answer any questions.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Next is Linda Alento. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Linda Alento, and thank you for the moment to just to share some comments. I know 2 minutes goes fast, so you can cut me off if you need to. Anyway, this is my son, Jason. He's over here. He's the reason why I'm here. He's also the reason why this particular law had to be basically rewritten. Anyway, Ms. Wurzel just shared some good concerns. I think the biggest concern that I see, even though I believe the statute was written correctly when it said claims, if you heard Ms. Wurzel use the word cases. Cases under IDEA is not the same as a claim of disability discrimination. That is what I believe is confusing here. So I look forward to the HCRC being able to accept complaints. I mean, I have 2 lined up already with a parent, just because we know they're being not treated fairly under 504 and ADA. Although IDEA would be to do with special education, it has their own standards. But let me just point out in the what I see here in the resolution. Up at the top, first paragraph, or up towards the top, it talks about the IDEA. However, the IDEA does not cover many discrimination complaints brought by special education students. Actually, many is not the word to be there. As Ms. Wurzel said, they don't take them because IDEA cases are not discrimination complaints. At the end, under where it says be it resolved, Again, this is another miswritten kind of conception that I believe the DOE has, that the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission is requested to clarify the applicability of processes for resolving special ed claims of discrimination under the IDEA. Again, discrimination is not even in the word IDEA. And if I looked at some of the testimony from last year with Act 164, and specifically it was in the DOE's testimony. In one of the paragraphs, it begins, under IDEA, students and families also have the option of filing a complaint externally with the US DOE Office for Civil Rights. So I could continue on and on and on with different reasons why I believe that there needs to be some clarification here. Just off the bat, the HCRC was developed or created by you guys, or the body legislature, 30 years ago. For 20 years, they did not accept any complaints from students, but they would anybody else in the state. This is the population we're looking at in fairness to all students. 10 years ago, I brought it to the commission's attention, and yes, it ended up in Supreme Court here in Hawaii. And everybody was surprised, I believe, because the issues that were brought up by me, the issues that DOE kept saying, no, the issue is a special ed matter. It was not. It came back to the 504 civil rights issue. And that's when the Supreme Court said, well, if the agency already has 504 protections, then they don't need protections under the Civil Rights Commission. So that's what 164 clarified and said, yes, even if they have 504 protections for people with disabilities, students with disabilities, then the 368-1.5 and 368-11 apply. But one thing that's concerning to me is in the 368-11 talks about the programs activities that are state funded. Those are the programs and activities covered. But the Civil Rights Commission provided testimony last year for 164. They said two sentences, one right after the other. And in my opinion, just listening to it and reading it, the first one, or one of them seems correct, the other one does not. And I'll finish with this one if I can find it here. This was in last year's testimony by the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. It says, for the schools, which kind of took off part of it, but it's referring to schools which are covered by the ADA, that's the special education law, as opposed to 504 protections for students with disabilities. It says this narrow exclusion for IDEA cases, which is the statute of claims within the scope of the IDA. That's the purpose of this particular resolution as I read it. This narrow exclusion for IDA cases should not apply to other state programs and activities which do not fall under IDA coverage. This measure would grant HCRC jurisdiction over public schools for allegations of disability discrimination against students unrelated to the IDA requirement of free and appropriate public education, such as the cases that fall under 504. I think there was one more. There was actually another one that I wanted to point out, but I didn't take a picture of it, so I don't have access to it, but it was the sentence before the one I just read. That, again, one of them I seemed right and the other one didn't, but the free appropriate public education, the standard of IDA, the standard is appropriateness. It's subjective, it's based on a parent's and a teacher's decision what a kid needs, that's appropriate. 504 has a different standard. And it's written really clear in our 368 chapter. What is discrimination? What is disability discrimination? That's what we're working with here. But when I looked at even with the committee reports, there's 3 different descriptions on what is excluded in the jurisdiction. One said over programs or activities that are covered by the IDA. That's what was concerning to me as well. Okay, excludes cases within the scope of the individuals or the IDA from the jurisdiction of HCRC. And the last one was excludes cases within the scope of the IDA from jurisdiction of the HCRC. That's what made it, or not, that didn't make it. Again, we're using the word cases but the statute said claims. So what is the difference and how is the HCRC going to interpret it? So I appreciate your listening, but that's my biggest concern.
Okay.
Can you guys, we need your help. If for anybody else, I guarantee you there's other kids like my kid who need the protection of this law, and we appreciate it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Then we have Jason in support. Okay, that's all the testifiers we have on SCR 129. Members, any questions of either committee?
No, I just want to announce that Senator Misalucha for Human Services is now present. Thank you.
So I do have a question for Ms. Olento and maybe for Ms. Wurtzel at the same time here. So my understanding from the bill that we passed last year, I've forgotten the number, is that HCRC has jurisdiction over education claims that do not fall under the IDEA. Is that correct, Ms. Wurtzel? We can't hear you, but I could read your lips that it was not correct.
Sorry, I said that's correct.
Okay, so anything that comes that's an IDEA claim should be adjudicated by DOE.
That's how we see it.
Is that the way a DOE sees it too? Yes. Okay. So what claims, Ms. Olento, have you been bringing? Under what law?
Okay.
Or what claims do you think need to be brought?
The ones that are based on disability discrimination, let me give you an example. There's an all-school field trip, meaning anybody can go. If one child, like my child, this really happened more than once, was able to go, but he was required to pay $200 extra so he could have his own hotel room and other certain things. And it took a lawyer to help me say, that's discriminating. Has nothing to do with IDEA, has nothing to do with the free appropriate public education.
But then if it doesn't have anything to do with IDEA, then it goes to Hawaii Civil Rights Commission, right?
Well, this is what the problem is. When it comes to special education, our DOE, and I'm going to say the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission as well, they see any special ed related anything, they see it as an IDEA issue. Go to special education. And I'll give you the
Okay, so let me just verify that with the HCRC. Is that the way you view the claims that come out of special ed? I mean, are they IDEA claims or are they another kind of claim?
Well, the claim that Ms. Olento just articulated, personally, I would see that as a 504 claim that would be within our jurisdiction. I mean, when Ms. Olento says what we've been interpreting, I'm a little confused because we don't have jurisdiction until July 1, 2022. So we have not made any determination.
Yeah, so then from the department, maybe Department of Education, if you could come up to grab a chair there, if you don't mind. So is your interpretation the same as HCRC's?
I'm going to ask actually our director of our civil rights compliance.
Okay, great.
To answer.
Is that the split? I mean, the fact that the new law that we passed last year hasn't gone into effect yet, but once it does, what claims are you expecting to have to adjudicate at DOE?
Anything that has to do with IDEA and program services has remedies built into our current processes. But if it comes to the example that you just mentioned, that would be 504 discrimination.
Which goes to HCRC.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess that's what so why is there confusion? I was not confused when I came into the hearing. Now then I became confused. And go ahead, pull the mic around. Yeah.
I'm not as quick as answering, but your office is actually, I've called them multiple times over the last, I'd say 15 years. And they are able to decide all the time, can they help us or not? But initially it's always, you special ed, go over there. You need to go over there.
So let's back up to now then, before the new law goes into effect. What's the split right now? Does DOE do anything other than the IDEA claims?
Well, we also do 504 ADA discrimination against employees. And we do that internally within it, but we accept things internally within the department. But then there is also remedies with the Office of Civil Rights if the parent wants to go external to the field.
Okay, and is that gonna change?
Discrimination.
Is that gonna change on July 1st?
No.
No, you'll still be taking discrimination claims, but if they don't want to deal with you at DO, is there an exhaustion of remedies or anything where they have to go through you first?
No.
So
Not
you,
for 504 ADA,
you can go straight to HCRC.
but for IDEA, you would have these
You have to go to you. Okay,
remedies within the department.
okay.
May I make one clarification?
Yeah,
Just to
sure.
kind of undo the confusion. The children who get special education under IDA, they have an IEP. That's their educational plan. You might see accommodations listed. This person needs an aid on field trips. Okay, you're going to find it on the IEP. But this field trip after school going somewhere, it might be considered extracurricular. In fact, this one, case in point, is the secondary student conference, the one that you all provide every year. It's in your law. He came right before the pandemic. That's not part, he doesn't need that for a free public education. I go to due process hearing, they're not going to look at it because first of all, it's discrimination. It has to do with the IDA because he's a special education under IDA. But was it required under FAPE, free or public education? Right. That's when, that's a
But
discrimination
Sounds to me
behavior.
like that's something the DOE would take up.
We could, if the IEP indicated that there need to be additional supports in all the program and services. If it's a program and service of the department, then it would be.
It would be,
It would be, it would be a 504 claim if it is a program and service. of the
Okay.
department.
which I'm sorry, so to repeat myself, that either you could take it up or anybody could go straight to HCRC currently.
I'm not sure that it could. I don't think that's an effect until July.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Questions? All right,
Recess for decision making? Recess. Okay, recalling for decision-making the Joint Committee on Human Services and Judiciary, 3 p.m. calendar. SCR 133, SR 117. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We are going to accept the domestic violence amendments except for the implementation portion. And well, just the first one. We're going to accept. They mentioned 3 potential amendments. We're going to accept the first amendment, which is to create the task force among those people. We are going to extend the deadline from 2023 to 2024. We're going to put in the committee report the concern of DVAC's limited resources and request that they implement it within the resources that they have available. And we're also going to put in the status of women's concerns in the committee report about Filipino women being subject to domestic violence more so than substantial domestic violence as stated in their testimony. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, for the members of the Committee on Human Services, we're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass SCR 133 and SR 117 with amendments. Chair San Buenaventura.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Misalucha.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
The recommendations on both resolutions have been adopted.
okay, for JDC members, same recommendation on SCR 133 and SR 117. Questions or concerns? If not, Senator Cololi.
Members passing with amendments, Chair Rhodes.
Aye.
Vice Chair goes aye. Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Kim. is excused. Senator Lee.
Aye.
Senator Favela. Aye. Chair recommendation adopted.
Thanks.
Okay, so for SCR 225/SR 218, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We will accept SMA's proposed amendment and DVAC's first proposed amendment, which is to create the task force, including State Department of Health, Immigrant Justice Center, Legal Clinic, Hawaii State Coalition Against Domestic Violence, in addition to Hawaii Commission on the Status of Women, Domestic Violence Action in the Filipino Chamber of Commerce. Again, we're going to put in the committee report that we understand DVAC's limited resources and request that the implementation be within the resources that they have available. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
With all members of the Committee on Human Services present today, we're voting on the recommendation to pass SCR 225 and SR 218 with amendments. Any reservations or objections to the chair's recommendation? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you, members, JDC members for SCR 225, SR 218, same recommendation. Questions or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Members, with 6 members present, passing with amendments, are there any reservations or no votes? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, thanks, members. Next up is SCR 129. This requests the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission to clarify claims within the scope of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So I'm going to defer this, Ms. Alinto, specifically since you took the time to come down. I hope the bill that we passed last year that goes into effect in July will take care of the problem. If it doesn't, I'll be happy to entertain, assuming I'm still here, I'll be happy to entertain any problems we might have next year. But I believe that was the purpose of the bill, was to try to straighten out that sort of just getting the jurisdictional lines correct. So we're deferring.
Okay, thank you. We are adjourned for the joint committee hearing on with JDC, Human Services. Calling the Joint Committee on Human Services and Education 310 calendar. First up is SCR 1/SR5, urging the Department of Education to deploy and implement a program to recruit and employ qualified blind persons to serve as orientation and mobility instructors and in other positions as teachers of visually impaired students. But before we go on, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the members we have here. For Human Services, we have myself, Senator Misalucha, and Senator Favela. And for Education, we have
myself, Senator Kidani, and my vice chair is in another hearing. And I have Senator Kanuha and Senator Favela here,
okay.
who are also supposed to be in another meeting.
Yeah, this is going to be fast, so we need you for quorum in case. So please don't. Okay, so first up, we have James Gashel, who has been very patiently waiting his turn, testifying for National Federation of the Blind of Hawaii. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, senators, chairs, vice chairs, senators. You know, it won't take very long. This bill, this resolution actually passed in the resolution form in the House and Senate last year, but I guess the clock just ran out on final consideration of the concurrent resolution. We hope it crosses the finish line this year. It's not going to make a law, but it will make an important statement of the legislature's faith and understanding in the innate abilities of blind people to teach other blind people. I mean, who's better at teaching a blind person how to go from point A to point B, me or you? I think I know, so you can do some of that, but so can I. And so blind people have the ability to do this. The education department needs to begin to believe in us. With this resolution, hopefully we'll have discussions and get there. We didn't hear from them as a result of the reso versions passing. Hopefully we will when the concurrent resolutions pass. Mahalo for your consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Department of Human Services, DVR, providing comments on Zoom. Please.
Aloha, chairs, vice chairs, members of both committees. I'm Leah Diaz, representing Department of Human Services. The department stands on its written comments, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Donald Sakamoto in support. Are you present, Donald Sakamoto?
Not present, Chair.
Okay, what else? We have DCAB in support, Kirby Shaw, Stan Young, Hawaii State Committee of Blind Vendors in support, Brandon Young in support, Kimiona Kane in support, Jacqueline Borsa in support, Tabitha Mitchell in support, Lenny Ebisutani in support, Alice Talbot in support, Melissa Gerber in support, and for the SR version, same people except we also have Katie Kime in support, Virgil Stennett in support. We have Academy for Certification of Vision Rehabilitation and Education Professionals providing comments. Tabitha Mitchell in support, Hoku Burrows in support, Lenny Ibisapani in support, Stacy Fong in support, and Melissa Gerber in support. Questions? Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR1, SR5? Seeing none. Members, any questions? Okay, I just have one question. Mr. Gashel, since you're the only one here present testify, did you see the Academy for Certification of Vision Rehabilitation and Education Professionals written testimony?
No, I did not see it.
Okay, basically, they just want to remove the two paragraphs, whereas the COM certification focuses on vision-centered orientation and mobility services, but does not focus on the structured discovery approach. And the second one they want removed is whereas the structured discovery approach emphasizes the employment of blind instructors, whereas the vision center orientation and mobility approach emphasize the employment of non-blind instructors, resulting in diminished employment opportunities for qualified blind persons as instructors in Department of Education programs. Do you have any problems with removing those two paragraphs?
Well, I do in that, and we do in that, that's at the heart of the problem. So if you take those statements out, the resolution means a lot less.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, can we just go to decision making or you want to discuss? I'm not gonna pass it. Yeah, we're passing it. Okay. And I think this one has, does this one have tech amendments? Yeah, we have tech amendments.
Yeah.
Okay, we have tech amendments and with tech amendments. Okay, we're just gonna go on to directly into decision making. Chair's recommendation is to pass with tech amendments. Any comments, questions, and concerns with the SMA amendments? Okay, seeing none, Senator Misalucha, can you call the vote?
Members, we are voting on SCR1 as well as SCR5. SR5, and Chair recommends pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Ihara is excused. Senator Akasho is excused. Senator Misalucha votes aye. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair with 3 votes, your recommendation is adopted.
And for the Committee on Education, recommendation is to pass with amendments SCR1 and SR5. Member Kanuha for the vote. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on SCR1 and SR5. Senator Kim is excused. Senator De La Cruz is excused. I vote aye. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair, you have 3 ayes. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.